Okay.
You are recording.
Alrighty. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's so weird. It feels like we're missing us.
Well, like,
Because we don't have people responding.
it's like not. I'm like trying, and we can't see it. That's a big
No.
deal too.
That's what's wonky.
1 minute. Yeah, it's just spinning.
Oh, I'll turn that thing off.
I'm like,
Oh my God.
that's the sound
I
don't
always turn it
recognize.
off before I come in here and I didn't do it. I'm kind of running late this morning. So I was afraid I was going to be. Who made the blanket?
Here we go.
Diane did from Banquest.
I wish I'd have known her when I had all that yarn. I do it too. I can crochet, but
Yeah.
I cleaned out all my closets, got rid of so much crap. No
my,
time.
my sister
No
crochets
time.
and knits, and I don't have the talent for that stuff.
I've been looking for somebody that needs an extra ink. Are we on to recording?
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
recording, but it's
Even Messenger's down, which is weird because usually if Facebook's down, you can still message, and Messenger's is down too.
They must have been hacked.
yeah. I'm on Twitter right now to find out why Facebook is down.
Is it Twitter up?
They're not the same. So it's that it's hilarious. But the main thing is Instagram down. And in reference to that, I'll get with you.
Hey, after the show, I want to ask you a question. Don't forget.
Okay.
Don't let me forget. What
Don't
we're
let me
talking
forget to
about.
ask her.
Okay. Ask Yvonne.
Yeah.
Question. Okay.
Sewing room. Just say you sewing room,
Okay.
and I'll know what I remembered. It's not a senior moment.
No worries. Here we go.
Welcome to Today in Yuma. I'm Jennifer Blackwell.
And I'm Teresa Straub.
Is that right? I'm like, whole morning's just wonky.
You're looking at me weird like I'm not Teresa Straub.
No, I'm not Jennifer.
Yes, you are Jennifer, and yes, you're listening to the Today in Yuma show. You are not watching it right now on the Sunset Health Facebook Live feed. Well, because Facebook and Instagram are down.
That's right. It's not us. It's not our internet for one.
That's the first thing we usually go to, but when you pull up the internet and everything else comes up, it is most definitely Facebook and Instagram is down. And what's weird is even Messenger is down. Usually you can still message when the platforms
They're
go
all
down.
cousins. They're related.
They're all related, and no, it's not your phone. No, it's not your internet. It is the platform itself.
But you can tweet right now. Send me a tweet. We're good.
Are you on Twitter?
I'm on Twitter, yes. You are listening to Z93 and Outlaw Country, where you can hear the show weekdays from 9 to 10.
That's right.
And again, normally you would be watching us on the Sunset Health Facebook Live feed, but sorry about that. We'll do our best to get it back up as soon as Facebook's back up.
Yes, we are recording the show though, so if there's information that you hear and you're not able to write it down for whatever reason, we are recording the show. And they won. Yesterday?
Yeah. My husband was saying something. I go, are the Diamondbacks in the playoffs? He goes, no. But he's a Braves fan, so
He knew the answer to that
He-
question.
he
I think he
did.
was just poking the bear.
he
a
was.
little bit.
But you know what? Suns basketball kicks off this week.
What?
There's
Yeah.
a doubleheader on Wednesday. So
Preseason?
I don't know.
Come on, Miss
Wait.
Basketball.
They went so far into the
Then
finals.
it seems like
that
they just stopped.
It did, but I believe it's their, if not
Opening.
Come on.
I want to say it's preseason.
Okay.
We can't look at the Sunset Health Facebook Live feed for Jay Worm or somebody to give us that information.
Exactly.
So
Jay Worm or our hardcore round ball fans.
Exactly.
That's what I call it. I'm the only one.
But I'm pretty sure it's preseason. There's no way
Yeah.
the season started.
So that
already.
will be on Wednesday, and you can hear those games
Yes,
on Outlaw Country
you sure can.
all season long.
You sure can.
Also, sponsorships are available if you're interested. Reach out. Let me know.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Western Conference Champions 2021, by the way.
That is awesome.
All right. Today is, this sounds good, National Cinnamon Bun Day.
Why do they do these days to us?
Well, right under that, you're going to hate this. Or love it. It's National Taco Day.
I'm gonna love it.
Yeah.
It's tacos. Doesn't love tacos. Carrie Ring.
It's also National Golf Lovers Day.
Oh, your son plays a lot of golf.
Jace has a love-hate relationship with golf. He's been doing a lot of the classes with Rich Walton over at the city.
Yeah.
So, but our aunt golfs any day you give her the opportunity to. Aunt Phyllis is out there on one of the courses.
My brother is a great golfer. He played golf in high school. My dad, I don't know that he's played recently, but my dad plays. We have quite a few people that play golf. Kevin plays golf. Even Eli was swinging that golf club at like 2 years old.
Let me put it this way. I have 3 golf bags in my living room right now.
I'm not that hardcore.
So one is the boss's because he's a lefty, and Jace borrowed a few clubs from him initially, and then he has his own, and then Jeff's, and I just keep moving them around so they're not in the same spot. It's also National Vodka Day.
No, thank you. I'm not a vodka person.
National Consignment Day.
Ooh, I like
You can
consignments.
find some cool stuff that way.
Yeah,
And it is also National Child Health Day.
very important.
Extremely important.
Yes.
All right, now we do have a few birthdays on the Firehouse Subs birthday shout out list, and I want to give a huge shout out to the Firehouse Public Safety Foundation. Through their grants, they provided the what are they? I printed out, but I left it next door. The kits that each of the schools within District 1 has, I think it's the defibrillators.
Oh,
They provided those to each of the schools in District 1. They put
that
out
is awesome.
they put out a press release on Friday, and again, I did print it out, but our morning's been a little bit wonky.
That is absolutely amazing. And we talk about it all the time. You know, there's other places that have this sort of fundraiser type thing that they do for different foundations, but it's as easy as giving your change. And what I love about the Firehouse Public Safety Foundation is we see it here locally. This is just one instance. We've had multiple occasions where they've donated back to our different first responders and like this schools. These things are necessary in our schools that aren't always in the budget. So we cannot thank them enough.
That's right. And this is such a cool thing to do, again, because it benefits our children.
Yes.
But it also has to do with public safety, because think of the instances where our first responders are going to head on out
Yeah.
in the ambulance, or we'll have the paramedics that respond to these. Yeah, School District 1 recently completed the installation of 18 AEDs
Wow.
thanks to a grant from Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation.
That is awesome.
And it's a life-saving device. So awesome.
Keep rounding up that change.
That's right. When you buy more subs, you save more lives.
That is for sure.
All right. On our birthday list today, we have Jennifer Robertson Sills celebrating.
We also want to wish a very happy birthday to this little guy. He turns 1 year old today. Asher Cade Castillo.
Oh, happy birthday,
Happy
Asher.
birthday, little dude. And I loved his cake smash. He was all about that cake. It was adorable. Happy birthday, little dude.
Elena Rose is also celebrating a birthday today.
And because Facebook is down, I couldn't get all my Facebook friends today, so we might have to do those tomorrow.
All right. We'll get them in when we can.
All right.
We are, however, going to draw one winner at random for a free medium sub chip drink and dessert courtesy of Firehouse Subs.
That's right.
These are from last week's local birthday entries. Sorry, Kevin's job, you can't be included.
No.
All right, I need a drum roll. It is Mary Ziegler.
Oh, congratulations, Mary. Again, Mary is the winner of a free medium sub, chips, drink, and a dessert courtesy of Firehouse Subs.
Alrighty. Now, we do have a lot of things that are coming up, and if you have a birthday or a special anniversary, let us know about it.
Yes.
You can go to our website at monstermediayuma.com, click on that Today in Yuma tab, and there you will see the Firehouse Celebrate logo, and fill out that little entry form. If you have a list of them, just like our friend Sarah Wisdom at the library, you can email us your entire list, even
Yes.
if it's a year away. Send it all to us now, and Teresa will get it added to our Firehouse Subs birthday calendar.
That's right.
All right. Let me see. We've got the job fair coming up on Wednesday. We talked about this a little bit last week. This is the Yuma Community Job and Education Fair, and it's a collaboration with multiple agencies, educational institutions, and resources from the state of Arizona as well as Yuma County. If you are looking to maybe change gears, you want to change the pace for your career, or you're looking at getting into the job force for the first time, there are multiple opportunities. We have people from the healthcare field. We have people from hospitality. There are military organizations that will be there, law enforcement, and so many other opportunities. Again, education. If you are looking for something, come on out to the 4 Points by Sheraton on Wednesday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We've been saying dress to impress because you may very well be doing an on-site interview. And we've been hearing about some of the other fairs that have taken place the last few months.
Yes.
Some people have been hired on the spot.
They have, and even when we had the people in that we're talking about the last job fair, they literally say they have an area set aside for those on-site interviews. So you definitely want to make sure you come prepared with your resume, and like Jennifer said, dress to impress. And there is plenty of resources out there if you maybe need to update your resume or you're not sure how to go about things. There is a plenty of resources out there. Arizona at Work, is one of the main ones. Goodwill always has their resource center as well, and they are more than willing to help you get what you need and to get you prepared for this type of event, so that you go ready, like I said, with resources and your resumes and dress to impress. There's a ton of employers that are going to be there. The list is very, very long.
That's right. And again, it's 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. this Saturday. So if you've been thinking about something, go ahead and head on over to the event.
That's right.
All right, let's take a quick break on Today in Yuma. We'll be back with Yvonne Peach with Museum Monday right after this on Z93 and Outlaw Country. The show is brought to you by Quick Refrigeration, where they offer free second opinion on AC and heating repairs. And it's cooling down a little bit. Now's the time to have your unit checked out. Make sure the heater works.
We need to get them in here to talk about to make sure that your heater is running properly.
Yes, and that
so
it is
important.
safe for you and your family.
Yes.
Give Quick Refrigeration a call or visit their website at getcoolquick.com for all the details.
And Sprague Sports, they are your hunting and shooting headquarters and home of Yuma's coolest indoor shooting range, which is newly remodeled. You can try it before you buy it or sight in your favorite firearm at Sprague's on 32nd Street next to Lowe's.
And Yuma Nelson was founded locally back in 1978. Their team has over 100 years of combined knowledge, and with that, they can provide a get-it-done-right attitude. You can find them on Pacific Avenue weekdays.
And Ed Whitehead's Tire Pros is one of the main causes of tire failure is underinflation, causing the tires to flex more on the sidewall, heat up, and blow out. Ed Whitehead's Tire Pros can quickly and affordably take care of all your tire needs.
It is Today in Yuma. We'll be back after the break on Z93 and Outlaw Country.
I was just going down the list.
Just keep on reading.
That's all I was doing.
Z93,
Somebody
Outlaw
else is here, I
Country, and
think,
Ferguson
that
Plumbing
it
and
just
Water
went
Works.
off.
Sandy or Chris?
Tommy Mercado is a local roofer, and he was recently injured while working. A benefit chicken dinner is coming up on Saturday, October 9th.
I'm gonna close this door.
Due to his injuries and get him back on the roof. The grilled chicken dinner includes beans, rice, macaroni salad, salsa, and a tortilla for just $8 a plate. The event starts at 1 p.m. and runs until 6 p.m. at American Legion Post 56, located at 1490 West 3rd Street. For more information and to purchase meal tickets,
I had to remember who had sent me the email, and it came directly from District 1.
01 or Rosalie at 257-5345. Community Matters to Z93, Outlaw Country, and Ferguson Plumbing and
Who's
Water
here after
Works.
me?
Open Monday through Friday.
Casa?
6 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 3267
Sandy Garrison and
33rd
Christina
Place.
O'Brien.
I've never met them, but I sponsor a lot with them. Yeah.
It's a great organization.
Mm-hmm.
The Yuma County Fair is coming October 15th. Z93 and Outlaw.
It's funny to watch the
Country
text
More
line
Family.
when one of the
Fair
promos
tickets
runs.
plus free ride tickets
It starts
too.
going
Text
off.
the keyword fair,
Well, it's fair.
F-A-I-R,
Fair is next week.
0993
I did not know that.
It starts next
Friday.
Friday.
I signed up for all kinds of stuff, but I thought it was in November. I'm
I'm excited. I think I might see if we get a babysitter that Saturday, because the weekend after is Bridget's gift, right?
Pest
Yeah.
and wildlife specialists have been providing pest control service in
Anita, you go to Indy,
20
like,
years. They're the only
soon.
company in Yuma
2 weeks?
3 weeks. Well, the 21st, 20th.
What day is Bridget's?
So 2 weeks?
Bridget's is the 23rd.
Flexibility. Advocate Pest
Yeah,
offers
2.5 weeks.
It's like we blinked and it was here.
I know.
protection plans plus wildlife control like feral cat trapping.
I still have a niece having her 18th birthday on Friday, and I haven't proceeded very far.
Jaylee?
Yeah.
18?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Tell me about it.
On Amazon.
again, it's weird because I've been here, so I've known Jaylee for what, 11 years? It's been 11 years?
Yeah. 12 years next year.
Yeah, it was just in August, it was 11 years. So when I first started talking and seeing her nieces and nephews, they were little, you know, and then all of a sudden you blink and she's 18. I'm like, oh my gosh, where did time go?
What makes us feel older?
Uh-huh.
That's the problem with it, more than anything.
Yep.
We were trying to figure out how old my mother-in-law's dog is, and she was like, I think she's 12. And I go, no, she's only like 9 or 10. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I forget Kevin and I are going to be together 13 years April will be 13 years. I'm like, yes, that will make her 12 because me and Kevin, I was pregnant with Eli when she got Shiloh. Yeah.
Wow.
I was like, oh my goodness. It's like, it's just going way too fast.
It does.
Here we go. It's not until you put it in perspective with the littles, you know, like, oh my gosh, 18 years old, and then you're like, oh, where'd the time go? Ready?
Welcome back to Today in Yuma. I'm Jennifer.
And I'm Teresa.
Just a reminder, our Sunset Health Facebook live feed is down, but it's Facebook. It's not us or our internet.
Exactly. It's not our internet. It is actually Facebook and Instagram that is down. We are recording the show, so once it comes back up, we'll get it posted so that way if you're listening and there's any information that you may hear or maybe have, wanted to write down and couldn't get there, we will post it later for you.
And I believe it is preseason for the Suns because
right.
the
It
20th,
is preseason.
Yes,
The
the
20th
20th
starts
will be the
regular
first
season.
game versus the Nuggets.
Yeah.
Alrighty, joining us now from Museum Monday is Yvonne Peach. Good morning, Yvonne.
Good morning, how are you?
Pull that mic just a little bit closer.
That way we can hear
Okay,
you.
there you go.
There you go. That's
Yes,
better.
Okay.
we are doing great. It's always fun to have you in here because you bring some great information about Yuma history, and sometimes you put a different spin on it. You wanted to talk about fashion today.
Yeah, I did. You know what it is I think we take a lot of things for granted sometimes in life. For example, now if you want a new blouse, you order it online and you can get it tomorrow if you want.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. But years ago, well, back when Yuma was kind of in the old days, if a woman wanted a hat, sometimes they had to be ordered and then it had to come in on the train. So we're talking maybe they wouldn't get it for 2-3 months. It's hard saying how long it would take. But back then, women would have to wear, of course, all women wore hats, they wore gloves, and they had purses. That was like, but these things were not, you'd have them in the mercantile store, but they weren't, I call it high fashion type things. They would be generic kind. So in around the first part of 1930s, the Fashion was opened on Main Street. And the Fashion was the first ladies to wear store in Yuma.
Really?
Yes. And that store, you could go in and there was a huge collection of hats, of course jewelry, for women to wear, gloves of all kinds. Gloves could have been lacy, they could have been thin nylon. There was such a tremendous amount of fashion back then. It wasn't like the leather gloves of today. Gloves made a statement and women wore them everywhere. And then of course purses were the same. They had little clutches and they would have metal purses sometimes. They'd be all out of metal. And so, anyway, the Fashion was open, and it thrived on Main Street. Women would go in and buy their things. In the museum, I actually have an entire collection of hats from the store. The store was closed in 1955 when ladies to wear the stores, like department stores and stuff came in, like Sears and those kind of places.
Where was this store located on Main Street?
Okay, it was actually where the Pine House is now,
Perfect.
and it was John's mother's store.
Really?
John's mother opened the very first ladies to wear store in Yuma, and it was called the Fashion on Main Street. And so that's where it was at, and it was there until about 1955. That's when they had the closeout sale and everything was eliminated. Matter of fact, the store stayed empty for several years. And then during a time zone when the mall was kind of closed, there was lots of problems there. Anyway, Johnny's parents actually sold it to the city for $1.
Oh my
I
goodness.
still have that check in my office because I think it's kind of cool. They never cashed it. But anyway, to make a long story short, so fashion kind of changed. And as we know it, when we were kids, it was a big deal to wait for Easter because we all knew we were going to get a brand new dress.
Dress up.
We were going to get, black satin, patent shoes. And we always had hats when we were kids. Most people my age remember fashion like that. And as time has changed, people have stopped doing that. I'm not sure what started it, but now I would say 90% of the people do not buy an Easter outfit for their kids. I would say 90%. But I wanted to talk about fashion because it's changed so much.
It has.
And how people, back in the 1900s, how hard it was for them to have any kind of a fashion like we have now.
Well, even think about the impatience. We're so fortunate that we can simply go to a multitude of stores within our own community to shop immediately if we're
Right.
looking for something. Otherwise, purchase online, and it's not buying from a catalog where you'd have to wait months and months and months,
Right.
especially for a custom item.
Right.
You mentioned some things you can order online and have the next day.
Right.
Completely different times now, but so many more options for
Right.
fashion are out there, different
Right.
styles.
And even going a little bit further into it too, a lot of people could not maybe afford the actual dresses or have dresses made.
Right.
So they would splurge a little bit on the fabrics and
Right.
actually make their own. I know Anita's very savvy with the sewing machine. I wish I was as savvy as she is. I can't. But and I think Anita feels the same way as I do. I feel like we were born in the wrong era because
Yes.
we love that old fashion that was now I don't go as far as the gloves and things like that, but anytime I found a vintage purse or the vintage hats, even just the little
Right.
ones, I'm drawn to them. And we still have some amazing antique stores downtown where you can find these pieces for very little, as far as a charge would go for them. But I think it's a certain eye or a certain person has to have an appreciation for those types of things, because I absolutely love those hand beaded clutches. Or
Right.
my mom for the longest time has, and I have it now. I hope she's not listening. I have it now because I fell in love with it. I used to see her carry it all the time, and it was a clutch, and it was like a shiny, like patent leather
Mm-hmm.
with silver trim, and the inside you could tell it's vintage because of the lining on the inside. She used to carry it all the time, and yes, I have it now, and yes, I use it from time to time. But it's just those pieces are statement pieces to us now. They're absolutely beautiful.
Well, my thing is, I've learned the history of Yuma in such weird ways that it kind of, I don't know, it's different for me sometimes, because when I find something a treasure, I'm so excited and I can't not forget it. It's something you embed in your head. When I first came to the hotel years ago, I was cleaning out a storage room, and I had to climb up on a, I don't know what it was, a piece of furniture or something, climb up to empty out the cabinets and all. And I remember telling John, I said, there's a bunch of old suitcases in here. What do you want me to do with those? I'll just throw them away. He said, my folks had them years ago. And so when I was cleaning out the storeroom, I really tossed the suitcases to the side. I mean, I really just slung them. You know how you'll do? Well, they were old leather suitcases. And by the time I got done carrying off the trash and all that, I said to him, I kind of think them suitcases are cool. I want to keep them for a while. And he said, well, I don't know why. He said, they're really,
Because now look at your
Yeah.
museum.
They're just old.
But the
That's what
thing
he said.
is, I opened up the suitcases to see what was inside. I wanted to see that satin. And
The lining.
they were full of the hats. They were full of hats from John's mom's store. And so she thought so much of her store that when she closed it up, she kept all of them that she couldn't sell. And so they're actually on display in the museum. I have them. Some of them have a little price tag on them. They were actually $12. I mean, that was a lot of money.
That was.
back then.
It
In the
was.
30s, that was a lot of money. But that one has little strawberries on it and all kinds of stuff, you know what I mean? But it's just the idea that, to me, I had found a treasure, and John said, oh, that's right, I remember but just think how easy it would have been for them to go in the trash and never been opened up. And I've always thought about that. So people really need to pay attention when they're cleaning out a house or something of their folks's, because you never ever know what might be there.
We lived in a home years ago. We just moved back from Texas. We lived there for about 10 months when I was 7. And there was kind of a carriage house. We lived in a ranch house, and whoever had lived there previously left all of their stuff stored, but just moved away. They didn't care. And there were boxes and boxes of photo albums. And to me, even at 7 years old, how do you just abandon those precious treasures like that?
Right. Well, one time I actually went to an auction and I bought an old trunk. And I bought the trunk because it was full of scrap material from like the 20s, the 30s, the 40s. And they had tied it up. You know how they'll wad up some material and tie it. Well, I thought it was a pretty good deal because back then I made quilts. I know how to make quilts. And so when I had lots of time. So anyway, when I took them back to the house and I had unrolled them, you know, to lay them flat, there were baby clothes wrapped up inside.
They were protecting them.
They were protecting. Again, there's fashion from that time zone. And it was probably their first baby or whatever because they were that kind of clothes, you know, real small, or the nightgowns that they would wear. But she had rolled them up inside of that material. It looked like flour sacks or something like that. And so there's another example of how people store stuff that you would never think would have been that way. If I wouldn't have been, in other words, if I'd have been a person buying it to give somebody else, I would have just given them away because I thought it was just scrap material. But it wasn't until I opened it up that I found the baby clothes from that time zone, and they were like from the 20s and the 30s.
Taking that extra time. Well,
taking the extra time.
Speaking of the flour sacks, my mom, when she was younger, they didn't have a lot of disposable money when she was a child. She lost her mom at 10, and you know, my grandpa was a single parent for a number of years. My aunt made a dress for my grandma, or my mom, probably several, out of flour sacks. They were so ornate. They were beautiful patterns, and you didn't always have access to fabric that you could afford. And sometimes we see great deals on stuff now. You can get this yard for $1 or 50 cents, and that wasn't the case back then. It was difficult to get things. I wish I had one of those dresses that she had. I have my mom's wedding dress.
Oh, that's
and
wonderful.
it's a thick polyester. It wasn't satin or lace or anything. It was very authentic of the time. My parents got married at 17 and 18 years old, and it was 1969. So think of the dresses Twiggy would have worn, that type of style back then. The short,
clean, straight. I've seen the picture of your parents. It is a very classic 60s look like that.
But it's like I hang on to that because that's important to me.
Right. My mom used to make, my sister's much younger than me, and she used to make us dresses alike. We wore dresses alike till I was probably 16. It just seemed like, you know, whatever material they had, that's what you got. My mom was sick a lot, so we didn't have a lot of money when I was growing up. And so, yeah, we bought, and my mom made all of our clothes when we were kids. And it's just, again, it's fashion, and it's the way we look at things. And like you said, we take it for granted. We don't realize that what would happen tomorrow if the internet was down totally. Just take the example of that. If the internet stopped for 7 days, how it would affect all of us. It's just we live the way we live. And so, but I think fashion is pretty important. It's nice to know where we come from. And it's nice to see the way we've ended up. So, I mean, no matter what you do or what you wear, it really makes no difference now. You know what I'm saying?
Look, we're seeing a lot of things now. Fashion evolves over time. And we see a lot of things that have come back because we thought, those bell bottoms are never coming back. Guess what came back?
Oh, yeah, I've got a catalog and everything in it. The new catalog has bell bottoms that look like what I wore in high school, you know? And it's got the boot. I mean, let's face it, girls.
These girls are
kept our closet.
These girls are digging into closets, and they're like, hey, putting on their, you know,
Grandma wore these.
or grandma's clothes.
They actually market them as mom jeans.
Oh
Yvonne, have you seen that now? Yeah, they're called, one brand is called mom jeans.
Yes.
Oh, my gosh. I hadn't seen that, no.
Yeah, they're
been wearing them for years.
It's the higher waisted jeans and stuff like that. So, but it's fun to look back and
It is.
and you have some of these items down at the museum.
Oh, yes, I do. I have, like I said, there's a whole collection of the hats.
Thank you for not discarding them back
No.
when you were cleaning.
No.
You know, and that's the nice thing. You know, they are a part of your family's history, of your husband's history. I mean, so thankfully you did not, because you do have a museum full of so many amazing things.
Yeah, there's several different kinds of purses, too. I think my favorite one, it's solid brass.
Oh.
And it's just a small one. It's like about the size of like a saucer size. But it's little in between beads, not really beads, like links of brass put together,
Yeah.
and then it's attached with a brass clap on the top, and it
You
has
have
a
to
little.
send us a picture.
I can do that.
Yeah,
Sure, I
send
can
us a
send you a
couple
picture
pictures.
of it.
And you know,
Post them.
everything was made by hand.
I
Yeah.
I know.
Well, we still need to get down there for our field trip and
Yes,
check it
we
out.
do. We
Now,
do.
how can people come see the museum, Yvonne?
Oh, anytime, just call 928-783-4453. That's the hotel. And the girls will make an appointment. I only have 2 appointments a week. One's like with you guys, and the other one's for Rotary. And so, anytime is fine. Just have to make an appointment because and I'm the one that gives the self-tours.
Yeah.
I give the tour.
Well, thank you, Yvonne, and thank you for what you do to help preserve Yuma's history and history in general, but you specifically Yuma's history. You saw a need for that in our community, and you are really an advocate for Yuma's history and to make sure people know, what exactly Yuma is about. So thank you for what you do, and I encourage
thank you.
anyone to go check out the museum.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, we are going to take, in just a second, our Village Inn Pizza Parlor selfie out in the courtyard with Yvonne.
Yeah.
We'll be back talking Casa with Christina and Sandy right after this. Today in Yuma is brought to you by Sprague's, where hunting season is coming up, and they are your hunting headquarters. You can stop by Sprague's on 32nd Street next to Lowe's. Also, try out that new firearm or side in a firearm you've
Yeah.
already got.
Yeah.
They have their expanded indoor shooting lanes at Sprague Sports.
And Advocate Pest and Wildlife Specialist is locally owned and operated, offering general pest control, termite treatment and inspection, pigeon extraction, safe, humane wildlife relocation, and disinfecting services. You can find all the details at advocatepest.com.
And Telecris Plasma Resources remind you, donors help save lives. You can be part of the solution and earn some extra money. You could earn over $1,000 with 10 donations. Visit gripplesplasma.com for details.
Oil changes are key to your car's longevity. Oil removes heat from the engine, lubricates its moving parts, plus collects dirt in engine deposit. No appointment is needed for an oil change at Ed Whitehead's Tire Pros.
It's Today in Yuma. We'll be back after the break on Z93 and Outlaw Country.
Okay, I'm going to ask you real quick. We're off there, right?
Okay.
No?
We're still on
Go
Facebook
outside real
Live.
fast. It rolls the whole time.
I'm going to lay this off to the side. I don't want it in the picture.
I always enjoy working with Brian. And that shows you
I don't know.
he's so quick to return his phone call.
I understand.
My favorite is that he
She got
always
figured out a way
greets
to make
everyone with the biggest and most sincere smile.
We are locally owned and operated programs in 4 convenient locations dedicated to serve you. Follow us on Facebook,
Morning,
Instagram,
ladies. Come on in.
member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, with a 5-star rating from Bauer Financial, and that's big.
How are you doing this fine morning?
Good, how are you?
Well, thank you.
Where do you Can I get in the corner? Sure. That means I get a bigger chair. I just can hide a little better back here.
You don't need to hide.
Uh-huh.
Go ahead and pull the mics closer to you, ladies. You have your own.
Oh, I have my own. Just kidding.
Hello.
Hello, ladies.
Hi.
Oh, let me fix that.
You here?
Of all the places to run into you. All the gin joints, right?
All right. Put the headphones on.
You will not.
I feel like I'm gonna lick
Tanya goes, your show's not on. Is Facebook down? I go,
Yeah. Oh, good.
But we're
that's
still
why she's
recording.
it.
Sorry,
Chris
love.
is like,
Wonderful.
how
We
your
have to
parents
get
doing?
your beautiful face on camera. Come
I haven't
on.
killed them yet.
Honorary as ever?
They moved them- they live in Eager now. This was
Yeah.
the only, and they're not. You haven't seen
You're
my
like,
dad.
don't
My dad
Yeah.
is a hot. If you're recording, then I'll kill you.
Yeah, she's recording. I'll see if I can edit.
We can, yeah, we'll bleep that out. Actually, we're not live, so we can bleep.
We can.
Just delete that part.
Sorry.
Actually, my mom's not on Facebook anymore.
Your mom had told me about him.
Her face.
So much fun.
Your face says it all.
Yeah.
Are we ready? Okay, here we go.
Welcome back to Today in Yuma. I'm Jennifer.
And I'm Teresa.
Joining us this morning from CASA, we have Sandy Garrison and Christina O'Brien. Good morning, ladies.
Good
Good morning.
Happy to have both of you here today.
It's nice to be here.
Did you have a birthday last week, Sandy?
A couple weeks ago. I'm
Okay.
a September 11th baby.
All right. Well,
Happy belated birthday.
we were talking about you last week anyway.
We were.
Wait a Nothing but good things. Nothing
no.
but good things.
Only amazing things.
Like she's going to be on our show.
All right. Well, first of all, explain what CASA is to people who may be brand new to the concept.
Okay, so CASA stands for Court Appointed Special Advocate. And the volunteers advocate for children in foster care. They're in foster care by nothing they did. They're there while their parents figure out what it is they need to do to reunify, or while the courts and everyone decides what's a positive placement for them. Many years ago in '77, probably before all of you even remember, a judge in Washington State actually was doing, and these are always done in family court, and he's like, I'm not getting all the information.
Mm-hmm.
And so he went out into his community and said, will you volunteer to spend time with these children? So we get to spend time with the kids, get to know them. They're assigned by a judge. We say they have the eyes and the ears of the judge, but they have the voice of the child. So when we go to court, they can talk about how the child's doing, what things they may need. There's so many people involved in a child's life once they're placed in foster care. And we, as adults, think that's because we're taking care of them. But in reality, sometimes little things fall through the cracks. So that's where the CASAs are there to kind of pull all the pieces together and make sure the child is getting what they need to succeed. Whether their parents succeed, or another family member succeeds, or adoption succeeds, whatever the path for that is.
And these people are integral to the system and our children. We want their voices to be heard. And it's a great way to help facilitate that and make it happen.
Absolutely, yes.
All right. Well, I know we are always looking for more special advocates in our community.
Yeah, absolutely. I had to run numbers because last time I was here I messed up my numbers. There's currently 233 children in foster care in Yuma. And we currently are only helping 101. So it's better than it has been in the past, but it's not as good as it could be, obviously.
Is that because we need more helpers?
Absolutely. And that's the bottom line is you can take one child or you can take a family of 2 or 3 kids or whatever. So can I segue into what's coming up that's exciting?
Absolutely.
So we're so excited. Unfortunately, I call it PP, pre-pandemic. I probably shouldn't have said that online. We were literally 2 weeks away from having our local academy. And so we had all these people lined up. They wouldn't have to travel. They wouldn't have to do it online. And 2 weeks and they shut everything down. So we didn't get to do that. So 18 months later, we now get to have it in here again in Yuma. It'll be the first full week of December. It's not the first week. And our trainers did a great job from Phoenix over this, time frame. They started up right away with doing online. The online can take 5 weeks, whereas in-person training, it's 30 hours either way. And the in-person training takes 3 days.
Okay.
And I know that 5 weeks has been a stumbling block for some folks, especially because it was all online. So we're really trying to push so that we can get this class filled and then get us another class. So we're down we need at least 6 or 8 more, and which doesn't sound like a lot, but once they, step into the role or start to learn, some folks aren't sure if they can handle it. That's why I brought beautiful Christine with me. She's one of our shining CASAs, and to talk about how you balance and things like that.
We were talking earlier with Yvonne about how we see other, I have a niece who's turning 18, and Teresa can't believe that she's that old.
She's turning 18.
I've known Chris since she was
15.
15. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you were about 19.
See, we're both babies. But I've seen her go through this journey to being involved with the kids and adopting. And so, Chris, thank you for what you do.
Yes. Thank you.
Kind of give us an idea of what the experience has been like for you.
So as a CASA, like you said, I started as a foster parent. And once we adopted our family, that was apparent that we weren't going to be able to continue in that capacity. But we still have a huge heart for these kids that are, like she said, in this situation through no fault of their own, and they just need people to make sure that they get through it as unscathed as possible. So my next step was, maybe I can become a CASA. I learned about CASA because my kiddos had a CASA when they were in foster care, and they were amazing. They advocated for those kids every step of the way, and they only cared about those kids. Which is amazing. So the system is imperfect, and there's lots of ways we could improve it, and CASA is probably one of the better ways, I think. So I became a CASA. It's been 4 years now, and I'm a really busy person. Most people know that. One of the things I hear when people ask me about CASA and I say, hey, why don't you think about becoming a CASA, is, oh gosh, I'm too busy. And I can tell you 100% that with my schedule, if I'm able to do it,
anyone can.
You can do it.
Chris runs multiple businesses, and she's involved with nonprofit organizations in the town. With her kiddos are involved in things, so it's nonstop. But you're hearing her say it. If she can do it, you can.
Yeah, and it's really rewarding. At the end of the day, on bad days, I always remind myself, and I'm like, gosh, maybe this is hard. I think if it's hard for me, can you imagine being that child?
Exactly.
That kid who doesn't have any idea why this is all happening, most of the time living with people they've never met before, taken away from everything they've ever known. That's horrifying. So they need people in their life that are going to advocate for them and not worry about other, interests that they might have.
Too. I mean, that's a constant in their life that they know that they can really count on, no matter what home they're in or, which family they're with.
Or
they
what
know
case manager they have.
Exactly. That CASA is going to be there for them. They, you become someone they kind of confide in, and you're there for them, but you're also there to advocate for them. And that's the biggest thing, because their stories. Yeah. Sometimes their families may not know the whole story, but you do as a CASA.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you think it has given you kind of additional insight, knowing that your own kids went through a similar process when you're meeting with other children that are involved in similar proceedings now?
I think that helped me a lot, but really the CASAs come from all different walks of life, which is so important to bring to the table.
Right.
We all have something to offer, and it's all very important. So yes, I feel like I benefited because I understood a lot of the lingo and the process and things like that. But also, what was really mind-blowing for me and eye-opening was my perspective changed so much from being a foster parent to being a CASA. It's very different. It's super rewarding. I highly recommend it. And worst case, give them a call. You can. You're not obligated. Call the office. Talk to the ladies down there. Get some information. At the very least, make the call. See if it's something you can do. You can also come in as co-CASAs. You can come in as a husband-wife team, a best friend duo, split up the workload, make it something you work on together. Do as, you can't do it really as a family, you can't have kids involved, but adults, So I just make the phone call.
All right. Now, with the event coming up starting in December, we need more people to get signed up. How do they do that, Sandy?
Okay. Well, the easiest way, as Chris said, is to give us a call at 314-1830 or go online. Either way, they're going to eventually have to go online to casaofyumacounty.org, because everything these days is all electronic, so the application is there. And also, that's our website. There's a lot of good information on there, too. But I love talking with them, giving them some insights, running scenarios, things like that. Once they turn in an application, we start the background check. There's references. The application is a lot like a work application. You have to have references. And then, so the process can take 30, sometimes 45 days, depending on how busy you are, because there's little things that we do along the way. That's why we're pushing so much right now for December, so that by the time that rolls around, everyone's ready to go into training. So the easiest way is to call us. The next is to go online and work through it. If they get online and they have questions, just pick up the phone and call me. One of us is always there 8 to 5, and then we pick up our messages as quick as we can. So.
And what type of deadline, if any, are we looking at?
Oh, that's what was hard for me to kind of come up with. I would say the very latest, if we can push it fast, would be November 15th. I would really like to say.
So before November 15th.
Yes, I would really like to say that. Just because then that's going to be a lot of work for the CASA all at once.
Okay.
Is why. Because there is a lengthy, they call it they call it an interview. I call it sitting down and chit-chatting, which is what I was put on this earth to do. And we run scenarios. We talk about how they think they might handle something. We talk about what the parameters would be. A lot of pre-stuff to being actually trained and then certified, which, by the way, they are certified.
Okay.
They are professional advocates. Their pay grade is just volunteer. Mm-hmm. They are professionals. And I wanted to comment on the team that our CASAs sit on. They sit on with all the other professionals. So there are lawyers, there are the schools, of course there's DCS, there's behavioral health. There can be lot of different people, and every one of them brings something to the table, and so does our CASA. And a lot of times the CASA is the one who kind of pulls things together and goes, okay, so we're doing this, but the child needs this really. So how can you all fit into this? And they have programs that tell them what they can do, but we're the ones that say, I think you could try that, see what happens. So it's very important. Chris has had some very interesting, that's all in the cases. She's done very well. She's very, as you guys know her, she's very creative. She's very well spoken. So she can be very tactful sometimes when we need to be so tactful. And then we also have our time where everyone, all of our CASAs can come into our office, close the door, and just vent. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong, it's a hard thing. It's hard to see children in pain, especially the emotional toll that it takes. And some of that's going to rub off on you. But we're the adults, and we're here to help them get through this stage in their life.
I had a friend up in Scottsdale who became a CASA, and I think she was in her early 40s when she started. She did it for a number of years and then transferred with work up to Virginia, and the first thing she couldn't wait to do was get involved in their system up in Virginia, so she can continue to give back and help out our children.
Yeah, it is. It's an amazing program. So some of the basic requirements are you must be 21, which I go out to the college at least once a year, although that was pre-pandemic. But I love talking with those kids out there because I'm like, okay, I'll be here. Tell me when your birthday is. We'll celebrate it together. There's background checks, as I said. The tricky thing is you have to be available for court appearances because, of course, the judge is the judge. Those are things we can't change. Most everything else, the team you're sitting on, you can put in your 2 cents worth of when it would work best.
But to add to that, to be available for court appearances, so I work full time, as everyone knows, but and luckily my schedule is flexible. But if your schedule isn't flexible, you have other CASAs, and you also have the wonderful people in the CASA office that can help you out with those things too.
So you can relay your information.
Yes,
and
somebody
thoughts.
needs to be there, but it doesn't necessarily have to be you. So don't let that be a barrier to make the call.
Exactly.
We can make it work.
And in the beginning, we assign, if that's what you want to call it, a peer coordinators for you to walk through every single step of the way. And in that process, they usually know where your court case is at. And that's usually the first person we ask. But there's been many times that they aren't available, and we pick up the case, we read through it, and the CASA always says, make sure you tell them this, this, and this. We're like, okay, I'm here for...
It's another CASA that
Yes.
understands the importance of that information being relayed. So even if you personally can't be there, someone with the passion that you have is going to be there and be just as passionate for your child as you would be.
Yep.
I love it.
Our kids need us.
Yep.
They do.
All right, call 314-1830 or visit casaofyumacounty.org for more information. Let's get people signed up to help advocate for our children.
All right.
Thank you both
so much.
Yes, thank you both so much for joining us today.
Have a wonderful day.
You also, we are going to take our Village Inn Pizza Parlor selfie out in the courtyard. We want to welcome our new sponsor.
Yeah.
We'll be back with more of the show after this on Z93 and Outlaw Country.
Village Inn.
I know.
Oh, that's what I was thinking.
Like their salad bar.
It's like, oh.
Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. I know, that's why
All right, here we go. Ready? 1, 2, smile. Perfect.
Thank you so much. Good to see you. You too.
Do lunch when Mom gets back?
Yes, definitely.
She usually comes and visits when she's
I know, sorry.
I love her. I love her. I didn't work with her, but I love her.
Hurricane Norma.
No, we love her.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.
No, so these I showed you Instagram, Twitter says, or Facebook says the same thing. I guess it's not everyone. It must be a regional type thing because it says some. I'm like, well, everybody in my area.
Well, their Facebook has dropped substantially, 5.72% today. Facebook's dropped.
Lex had sent me a message before the show, and I responded, and she goes, "Are you having trouble with Facebook? I can't load the Insta." I said, "It's broken. Let it be."
Because it's Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp all
Oh,
go down
WhatsApp.
in major outage.
Yeah.
And I posted a contest right before we started.
It's going. It's well. Some people might see it. Some people might not. I don't know. That's a cute cup. I just noticed it.
Thanks.
So the cake that I tried with the whipped cream was the pineapple one. I haven't tried the apple one yet.
The apple one's really good. I think I'm actually going to make it for Thanksgiving. It's that good. But instead of doing the individual, I'm just going to do a big one.
I sent one of each with my in-laws, and then I think we had 2 apples left. Like I said, Kevin was like all over them after the party. And I said, okay, this one's staying, and then you take this one to share with somebody at work. Because like I was telling Anita last night, I tried it with the whipped. I had tried a piece after the party, but yesterday I tried it with the whipped cream, and I just cut me a little piece of one of the pineapple ones, put the whipped cream on it. I was like, oh, and I'm sitting there and I'm like,
I tasted the whipped cream and I had 2 of the pineapple things on the top. Those were flavored really good.
girl, I ate it. I went back to the refrigerator, put whipped cream on it, and I ate it. I said, and then
You
also
danced it off. It's all good.
I did.
Yes.
I did
And then Anita, it's so funny because my Tia Teresa, my Nana made Kevin his enchiladas. We just had to put them in the oven. So we made that for dinner last night. And I was like, oh, guacamole and chips? Sure. Because I put some away.
Yes, you did.
So that's what I had for dinner. It was good.
Welcome back to Today in Yuma. I'm Jennifer.
And I'm Teresa.
We want to thank Yvonne and Sandy and Christina all for joining us this morning.
Yes, all great,
Now,
great information.
Again, we're sorry that we weren't able to get Facebook to load, but that is Facebook's issue, and otherwise you would have watched it on our Sunset Health Facebook live feed.
Yes, and we've been on Twitter, and both Instagram and Facebook
Yes.
have posted. I think it's WhatsApp
It's
too.
Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp are all down. Several sources have confirmed Instagram's platform flashed up but couldn't load post message when trying to access people's pages, Well, Facebook simply refused to load because I have it pulled up. I keep refreshing and it says Facebook error.
Yes.
Yeah.
And places outages in the United States and abroad. Users in Russia, Barcelona, and Trinidad all reporting that their access has been shut off. Facebook spokesperson Andy Stone acknowledged the outage in a tweet, saying, "We're working to get things back to normal as quickly as possible, and we apologize for any inconvenience."
Yes.
Now, according to downdetector.com, a lot of people use that to find out if there's cable outages and stuff. Facebook was down for more than 83,000 users
Wow.
as of 11:47 a.m. And Instagram has over 66,000 and 22,000 for WhatsApp. So again, it's not network wide.
No.
It's just these little pockets. So, but we happen
We
to be
are
in the
that pocket.
Yes.
We are in the
But
pocket.
We will get today's feed loaded a little bit later. Give us
Yes.
time to download that and then upload it, and
Yes.
we will share that. Now, I had posted a contest to win monster truck tickets.
Ooh.
Monster. On Facebook right before it happened. We
Love that you do
will
that.
be extending the deadline for that. When I'm able to get an upload or update that, I had an 11 a.m. deadline. We will extend that.
We will extend
And we
that.
do have monster truck tickets to give away all week long, so stay tuned. And Yuma County Fair tickets.
Yes, you could still text
Yes.
the keyword FAIR, FAIR, to 928-343-0993. The winner will receive family passes into the fair and ride tickets. It's a nice giveaway.
That's the big prize.
That's the
And
big prize.
We draw that winner on the 13th.
Correct. That is next Wednesday, I believe.
Yes.
Next Wednesday, we'll draw the winner for that, so you have time to pick up your fair entry tickets for the fair that starts, Fair Fall Fest, that starts next Friday the 15th. So you can still text the keyword fair to get in for that giveaway. But yes, monster trucks are here. I'm excited. I'm excited to take Ollie.
He's
He is
gonna
Oh,
have
he's
so
going to
much
be
fun.
so much
He's a Mr.
fun.
Vroom Vroom. He's a mud truck kid, and I'm a little nervous. We're going to take the headphones because I think it might be a little bit loud for him. But once he sees it in person, I'm in big trouble.
It's always a fun time. And you're going to get to pick the fair winner without me. I'm gone next Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Oh, that's right. Oh, I like that.
Anniversary time.
Hey,
Nice.
and it's time for you to enjoy.
Every October, you
Are
lose
you-
me for a few days.
Are you going to go off the grid?
I don't know.
I pray that you go off the grid every time this comes around every year. Usually your husband takes you where you have no internet.
Oh, that's not the case. He's taking me to the garage.
Oh.
We're going to be cleaning the garage, so I might fall into some type of portal in there. Who knows?
Oh, we'll have to figure something out
Yeah.
to get you off the internet so that you won't work. That's the problem. Jen goes away and she continues to
I
work.
have one speed, but I don't mind it.
No.
All right, let me give you a rundown of who's coming in tomorrow.
Okay.
Toro Tuesday, so we're visiting with Arizona Western College. Julie Kemp will be back to talk about their job and education fair.
Awesome.
And Barbara Rochester and Caesar will be here from Crossroads Mission talking about their Jubilee fundraiser. That is coming up on October 16th. And Mike Erfurt will also join us tomorrow from the Yuma Fire Department. It is Fire Prevention Week,
Awesome.
and he's going to share details about that.
So weather-wise this week, we have some precipitation maybe?
We have a chance of showers pretty much now sporadically through Friday. And you're going to see a 7-degree cool down from 98 today to 91 tomorrow.
I'll take it.
And then I see lower 80s by the end of this week. We'll kind of do that.
My son was wearing a sweater on Saturday morning.
We'll do the up and down a little bit, but I don't think we're, okay, I'm knocking on wood. We're not going to see triple digits again until next season.
Okay.
Everyone. If you
Everybody.
collaborate. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. Please be safe out there. And up next on Z93, you can enjoy the Bob and Sherry Show. Outlaw Country brings you your favorite classic country music and Phoenix Suns basketball action.
Preseason.
KCYK Yuma and KLJZ Yuma.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you, Anita.